Hey everyone, welcome to the Relationship Smith Show. We are live. At a teaching conference, you mentioned that you wanted to make an exercise TV show, and somebody overheard you and said yes.
That's right.
What would your life be like if that person was 5 feet away?
I know. I mean, and honestly, it just came out of my head. I hadn't really talked to my friend. Oh, gee, I think I'd like to have an exercise show on TV. Because they just came around, and at the time, I just thought, gee, that would be a great way to help women get fit. And he said, I think I can get you one. I went for the audition and got it.
So tell me about your exercise show. Like you personally, your first day of involvement, like how much say did you have in the creation of it, the production of it, and then was that terrifying? Like this is my shot and I have to get it all right, or
perhaps, but I guess I didn't. I don't know where sometimes that courage comes from. I'm just thankful that it does. But
I hate being on camera.
I can tell.
No, I do. I
really?
Absolutely hate my voice. I can't edit these videos and look at me. It's but I do it because it's one of those it's not a courage thing. It's something I want to do, so I do it.
I didn't really I just, because I was teaching fitness classes. I'm trying to remember which came first. I think the TV show came first, and then I opened my fitness studio. Yes, that's the way it happened. I don't know why I'd had the courage. I used to teach phys ed, so I was up in front of students teaching. And trust me, women who want to come to a class are much easier to teach than students who don't want to run that 100-yard dash. I used to say to myself, it was one of the schools I taught at, I said it was like saying, all right, on your mark, get set, go. And I'd be the only one that would run the 100-yard dash, and all the kids are standing there, what are you doing? So for instance, it was just easier to teach women who wanted to exercise as well. So I guess maybe that's why it wasn't as hard. And plus I had a few of my instructors that worked at with my fitness studio with me on most shows. So that was also kind of welcoming and felt comfortable.
So that was one of your first tastes at fame. Yes. Like you would go into town and people would recognize you. I have to ask you first off, how did that feel at first? And I'll let you answer that one. How did it feel the first time people recognized you on the street?
Yeah, it was exciting. I guess it was exciting. And it was in a smaller city. So you don't kind of get lost. You're there. And then when I opened up my fitness studio, it was right downtown. So yeah, I was always, downtown, and then people came to join the classes and so on. Yeah, so it was okay.
Did you ever, because when I was a teenage boy, I used to watch the exercise shows in the morning. Did you have a lot of teenage boy fans?
Probably. I know I had.
That's all we had.
I know that I had a number of men who were just out of their teens that were definitely fans. And the sad thing is, I haven't shared this with many
then
people.
I want to hear it.
And there was the not so good side about it. I had stalkers. So that was I had letters come to the TV station from penitentiaries and so on. So that part wasn't fun. So and there's several times the police had to get involved. One, the stalker, I pretended that I was going to go meet him, and then the police met him instead. And another time, I used to have phone calls. And the RCMP actually came in, which is our federal police force, and they they came in, answered my phone, and got the guy. So that was the sad part of it. Yeah.
I just, I every time that I think that women can't just go outside and take a run at night alone, or even during the day,
Yeah.
that they have to fear for men like that, or men, period. It's part of the world I don't like. The fact that I can go out right now and run down the block and back and forth, and I'm not worried about anything. My wife can't do it. It's not an okay world. It needs fixed. Not to get on a soapbox, but it's the fact you had to endure that.
Downside, but the other side was, just so many great things happened, and I was keeping in shape myself, so that was an added benefit.
Added benefit, definitely, totally. So back to the thing. Every time, and it is every time I find an actor I find fascinating, and I do some background research just because I'm a curious person. I go down the rabbit hole and I dig stuff up. They turn out to be Canadian. What are you guys doing up there?
We're just so damn nice, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean,
before we get away from you doing your research, I want to say that I appreciate this, because a lot of people who are setting up their podcasts or TV shows or whatever don't do their research, and it shows. And then I'm almost embarrassed that I got an actor to have that interview. So I just want to give you a shout out and say it's appreciated.
Thank you very much. I think it's the least. If you're going to give me an hour of your life, I want to make sure you don't waste it, that I know what I'm talking about. Even if we go completely off topic and we don't talk about anything I researched, I want to know. The whole point of this show is to know you as a person. So anybody who comes on the thing, I want to know them as a person. And that involves, looking up their career. With Diane Franklin, who I grew up watching a lot of her movies, I still read her autobiography. I still went and did all the things I could within the limited amount of time.
Right.
And our next guest is kind of a last minute show, and I have a lot to go at. We have somebody that we got scheduled in before. Who's next? Sorry.
I'm sorry, Elizabeth Saunders.
Yeah, we have Elizabeth Saunders next, another Canadian.
Great. Nice. Oh,
yeah,
good.
we got her in, and it's one of those things like we'll do whatever we can to make sure. We have 2 shows in a row next week, and I just wanted to throw that up real quick. But it's another example of I want to do the research, and I'm going to dive in. So my next week is going to be researching one of your clients along with her, and just to make sure I give them the respect. I give them the respect of their time, and I'm looking forward to both of them equally. And thank you very much. I appreciate that you've noticed I did some homework. In fact, all of us have. Zaz and Josh as well. They give me their notes, what they have discovered, and that way we also hit more stuff.
I think it makes it more interesting too for your viewers.
Yeah.
And you had said earlier on, you're hoping that people that are watching will learn something. So if you have the correct questions and I have the right answers, then hopefully they will learn something.
I agree. I want to help people that are if somebody might watch this and decide, I need a publicist. When do I do it? How much should I, like that sort of stuff? And what's your life? I can imagine a lot of people thought that this might be a great life for them to be a publicist. What's the good and bad? Like what's the typical day life? I want to get that out there, as well as how has it impacted your life and your relationships? And your story reads like an accidental treasure map of I did this and it worked, and you worked really hard. That's the other thing that we have to get out there. You worked hard. This wasn't handed to you.
No.
Yeah. And you've continued to work hard. You can't have the next job if you don't work hard on one of them. I can imagine in your industry, you get washed out real quick if you screw up too much,
Or if you can get blacklisted, right?
Yeah. Like, she said this and it was bad. And I can't. It's a lot of work and a lot of pressure. And how much on that, like when you're talking with clients and keeping up with trends, I have this written down. Sorry for reading it. Keeping up on yourself and doing interviews about all of it. How do you do it all? Like you have to, like you have to, like when Instagram became a thing, you had to jump on Instagram and learn it. Like you had when there's a trend going on to do this sort of thing, like to do a podcast like this, or a trend to run away from anything on Twitter. You have to keep up on all that. You have to keep your own life in order. You have to keep your business in order. You have to keep the clients and your movies. How do you do it all?
I've got 2 big tips. First of all, one is hire people who are better at doing things than you are. For instance, I have a young gal who helps with my social media and posting my press releases and blogs and so on. And Jasmine, who's worked with me for probably over 15 years, she's much better at writing than I am. So I always surround myself. So it's Josephine and Jasmine who work with me, and there's definitely things they do better than I. So, and I always appreciate them. I remember them. And so that's one thing. And another thing is, and I started doing this during COVID because, as you say, I work hard. And I decided at one point that I was going to become one of my clients. In other words, if I can spend 2 hours a day on one of my clients, I should be able to do that for myself. And so I've always exercised, but I'm now for sure, I do like about 7, 8 classes a week. I meditate, I tap, I do all these things to keep my head straight, my body in shape.
Beautiful.
And it's definitely made such a difference, because I started off doing my fitness show and being a phys ed teacher. And then I got so busy with the stores and my career. I've often done, like I said, 2 jobs at once. So, I'd just be exhausted, come home at night and just collapse. And
I know that feeling.
Something, but it wasn't as much as I needed to. So that has made all the difference eating healthier, drinking the right things, or doing things
drinking enough of the water, even.
Pardon me?
Drinking enough water, even, like,
Yeah,
just the right things, but enough. Yeah.
My lemons. I squeeze lemon every morning and then put the rest in my water for the rest of the day just to get my vitamin C. So I just try to do all little things that are going to help me both physically and mentally.
Yeah, and what you said about having the right people, that's why I have my producers / co-hosts. They are good at things I'm not good at. I couldn't do this show without them. Right. So, you stick with, find people that are good at making you look good, or what you want to do work better. And that's great. And I love your advice about taking care of yourself. We should pop those guys on, actually. Hey, wasn't that magic? The getaway and relax thing. I actually, in the summer or warmer months, I have a camp. It's about an hour and a half away. It's a camper. It's not rustic at all, but it's a lot of woods. And I have to do that. I have to give to myself. I go and read, or I create, or nothing. Nothing is a wonderful thing that a lot of people don't acknowledge. So I love your answers. I really do. And I'm going to ask you a very important question, because I respect you, and this is for real. I'm probably going to come to Vancouver sometime, because I love Canada. I really do. I'm fascinated by the people, by the land, by everything. I think it's a wonderful country. If I come to Vancouver, when should I come, and what do I need to see?
Well, you should definitely come in the summer, because it does rain a lot here. But by raining a lot, it makes it very beautiful in the summer. And I would say come to Vancouver, do Stanley Park, do Grouse Mountain, do the sights and sounds. If you can, I would suggest going to Whistler. It's only a 90-minute drive away. I have a place up in Whistler. I have 1 week a month. And it's just fabulous. It's a great place to go and unwind and just be out in the fresh air. Mm-hmm. And and then, you could spend 2 or 3 weeks, have that time. But if I'm
not crossing the country for 1 week.
No.
I'm going to explore and enjoy.
And then there's Vancouver Island, where you take the ferry and just you might get to see the old whales and so on.
No, I'm interested. Totally. Yeah. Thank you. I knew, as a publicist, you're the person I need to ask, and you've said so many great things about it. And I don't know. I wanted to hear your answer on that. I thank you. Thank you so
And
much.
I think feeling blessed and appreciating what you have around you and being grateful is, really important for the psyche. And if you do come, you let me know, and I'll definitely give you places to go and maybe meet you at Granville Island and have a latte or whatever.
And the offer is same for Pittsburgh. If you ever find yourself in this city, we do a lot of movies now. We're like the
Great.
I don't know, something of the East, but we do a fair amount of filming. Jeremy Renner's in town right now doing The Kings of Lordtown a series I don't watch.
I saw him being interviewed today. Yeah.
So if you ever find yourself out here, please let me know. I love showing off my city as well. So I have one final question for you. We're reaching that time, and this is one where you get to give back to us for anything any hot seat I've put you on. You've accepted our invite.
Yes.
You've done the show. What are we doing right and what are we doing wrong? And feel free to be brutal.
Oh, I don't think I need to be brutal. I have told you that I appreciate the research and the fact that you have done your research and have the right questions, because there's a lot of podcasts out right now. And I think a lot of people come unprepared. You're not. You're prepared. You have your two buddies there who are definitely obviously helping you with the productions.
Yes.
Production value is good. So congratulations, guys. And so I don't have anything negative to say. I'm pleased, and I feel very confident in recommending my clients, because
thank you.
I definitely get reached out by a number of broadcasts, and I do have to look at them first just to see if my clients really, if it's a good place for them. And I would say this is.
Well, thank you very much. That's amazing. That's what I never know how to reach out to people. Sometimes should I go all in and say, hey, I do a show and I want this, or just say, hey, are you interested in a show, and leave it at that. And so reaching out to you from the first email to you to now, it's a learning process for us. And I'm glad that I came off professional enough, and that like our past shows gave you enough confidence in us to not only come yourself, but you're opening up your clients to us, which is huge. It's a lot of trust. And I hope that we honor that as well as you want.
Well, I like the fact that you need us and we need you. So it's a nice relationship. And there we go. I got your name in there.
Thank you. I didn't even catch it. That's how bad it is. Thank you so much. I do want to absolutely have you back sometime. I do have a lot more questions. I don't like to take too much time. Plus, people only have so long of an attention span sometimes.
That's true.
So many more questions that I can ask you, and I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Lesley Diana. Everybody tuning in, please make sure to subscribe. Thank you for coming. Absolutely. Make sure to subscribe to our show. Likes and all that stuff help. I know you've heard the speech a million times from a million people on a million different platforms, but your subscribing is what helps us get people like Lesley, and it helps us get people like her clients. So spread the word, give us the likes, help us out, and we will have Lesley back. We'll have a lot more people. We'll have not just actors, not just celebrities. In fact, we have a show coming up in March of people who are trying to become celebrities. And we're looking forward to talking to them and see what life is like now versus maybe a couple years down the road. We also have a full month of interviews coming up. That schedule will be on Instagram on all the usual platforms. We'll have it at the bottom of the show here, including a link to the Promotion People's website, and where you can find all of Lesley's clients as well and their press releases. Did I forget anything? Anybody? Am I good?
Thank you. Did
corrects me.
Thank you for having me.
Jump in real quick. We will.
Go ahead. You got to unmute to talk. Yeah, he doesn't know where the button is. He might have pulled his mic. I think he wants to mention that we have two shows next week, Wednesday and Thursday. We'll have that information up, including the guest we've been kind of taunting people with that we're trying to get. We finally got the date last minute. We really appreciate her making time, Elizabeth Saunders. And also, that's Lesley. She's here. We have Elizabeth Saunders, and also we have Al the day after her. So Al Miro has done a lot of stuff. stuff you've heard of, stuff you've seen him in as well. So get your questions ready. We'll be taking questions, possibly calls if we get our issue from last week worked up. You get to ask questions too. And thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Let's play us out, Josh.
See you, man.
Hi, caller. You're on the air. Hey, everyone. Relationships. We are live tonight with Eric.